Okay, we are alive, or we are live, or hopefully both. Uh, Trying to start it a little early just so I could do some uh, checking and some housekeeping here, make sure things are running well. They seem to be. Hopefully, we are going to. Well, let me double check something here. Okay, I seem to be muted. I shouldn't be muted now. So, okay. Well, this is a nice start. If you can hear me, please make a comment to that effect. We have two people watching, so hopefully one of you will say you can or cannot hear me. Let's see. That didn't do anything. Um, hmm. Nope, that's still not. Okay, you can hear me. That is good. I don't know why it's not coming through when I check things, but as long as you can hear me, and thanks for being here. Like I say, we are live. This is WVU going football, going deep. I believe I am alive. I have not checked my pulse of late, but unless the undead get excited about West Virginia football, I am definitely alive because I am pumped after signing day. We have less than 7 full days until the bowl game, and as you can see on the screen, I hope, 255 days to opening with Penn State. If my calculations are correct. So, and then we have, of course, the spring game in, what is that now, about 4 months? Lots of football. I am looking forward to things. It is going to be an exciting year, and hopefully in a positive way. We have been hitting home runs in the portal, and today on signing day. And for those of you who are watching this later on YouTube, thank you for being here as well. And for everybody, I do ask, of course, that you click the thumbs up button. Click to subscribe. Notifications are good. Share and make comments. The comments go extra for the people who are here in the live because I would like to make this a conversation. Comments help, and they help me figure out what it is you would like me to talk about, either in this broadcast or a later one. So, take the opportunity to have your say. I don't guarantee I will put it up on the screen. I don't guarantee I won't. We will just see how that goes. Of course, let me know what you thought of the signing day today, what you think of the transfer situation as it's gone so far, favorite players, questions about any of the players, sort of a housekeeping note as a result of today before we look at the individual players. Based on who has committed, we are up to 92 committed scholarships. Now, that's not scholarships that have been given out because guys haven't entered school yet, but that's 92 scholarships out of a possible 85. And you do not have to have done well in school to know that 95 is, or 92 is more than 85. So even with those numbers, we need 7 current players to retire or enter the portal. I can see about that many who are currently on the roster. I think this number may include Bartlett and Thornton, both of whom are likely to be gone. They both walked. Uh, Neither really has a great reason to come back next year. Uh, Thornton's playing time won't increase, and Bartlett's would likely decrease. We have recruited to replace him. So that's not a good sign that you should hang around. Um, and in his press conference today, Coach Brown said that he still intends to add, would work out to about 2 to 6 more guys in the transfer portal. Of course, a lot of that won't happen until the spring portal opening. Still want more guys as defensive backs. Obviously, that's the big spot. Most of the takes would be on defense. He would not turn down the right offensive player, and they did just offer an in-state player who went to Jacksonville State and has just entered the portal, and they wasted no time at all in sending him an offer. So we have potentially, I think, as many as 13 players who might need to leave if Brown did sign another 6 transfers. I don't know who it would be. Yes, there are more than that many guys who aren't starting who may not play next year. We may be losing multiple tight ends. I don't know. I mean, we've got 3 very young guys with great potential. You don't want to see him leave. I can understand if Wickstrom left. I can understand if Traylon Davis left. But Traylon Davis also has reason to stay unless he wants to go somewhere he'd be number 1. This coming year, he might still be the number 1 blocking tight end. Not going to get a lot of chances in the passing game. That has not worked well. Not always his fault, but it hasn't worked well. So if he really wants to play, 40 snaps a game, he will have to transfer. And the number of snaps he plays is likely to go down next year. So Brown also talking about recruiting in general. I think it's 16 of the 22 who signed today are within the 600-mile radius that he calls, the essentially home territory. So they are really, focusing on that. We picked up some guys outside of the territory, but he's refining. Brown is always about refining what you do and how you do it. So the recruiting is still getting refined, will continue to get refined. And he thinks he's doing better at picking guys who will fit. I, based on last year, agree. And I hope, this year it's going to work out that way. I think it will. He also talked about recruiting, not just for individual players, but by room. And that's, in multiple ways. He, focusing on a particular room to get that room right, and kind of moving on to another room, or sometimes getting 2 rooms worked on in a given year. Last 2 years was the wide receiver room. He was not happy with that room in any way, shape, or form. And that room was not happy. I've mentioned before that I, really just the psychological differences between the type of player that Holgorsen recruited, the type that Brown recruits, a lot of those guys aren't going to get along. They think differently, literally. Um, and that room was not helping each other out. They weren't supportive. Uh, Now he mentioned, now he said the room, they're good players, they're good teammates, and they are working. Implication is that in the previous room, some of the guys were not good teammates and maybe weren't working as hard as they needed to. And I think we were seeing that result in games. We could see a lot of change last season, or I should say this past season. It's still this season. And especially, the latter 2/3 of the year when the younger players took over and showed what they could do when they worked. The current focus, defensive backs. So if you look at what they did with the offensive line, then the defensive line, now the wide receiver room, you should feel really good about the you know the defensive backs. I think they've got a clue. Okay, now I dare say there is nobody here who has not heard who signed. I will go through the list alphabetically, but given a thought here and there, and then try to kind of look at the overall class, what it means, where it's going. Still hoping we will get some questions. We're up to an overwhelming 8 people watching. Yay, rah. My ratings are going up. Okay. Signed Lucas Austin. And if that name isn't as familiar as some others, we offered him late, signed him quickly, and we got in and grabbed him before other guys could because he was a late bloomer. And that's one thing this team is good at, it seems to me, is spotting guys who aren't there but are getting there and sticking with them. They don't say, hey, not good enough, and then ignore him from that point on. Austin, offensive line, 6'6", 270. So we are grabbing size. And 6'6", 270. He scored over 1,000 points in basketball, set the record for 3-point shots. Scoring. So I think we can say he is fairly athletic. We'll need to add a little bit of weight, but 270 is definitely not a bad starting point. And we know Mike Joseph and the nutritional staff can take care of that. Now, the guy that Brown focused on really on the offense, Kyle Altuner. He has been projected as guard or center. Brown says most likely he will be the center of the future. Now, whether that is, not this year. Okay. Yates is almost certain to start at center, barring injury. Livingston hopefully will be ready for reps this year. Could conceivably take that spot from Yates. I don't expect it necessarily, but it's possible. But by 2025, looks like it would be between Livingston and Altuner. 6'3", 290. Had offers from Boston College, Cincinnati, Maryland, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Pitt. And we did sign several guys who had offers from Pitt. I know some people will enjoy that fact tremendously. Also signed Israel Boyce. By the way, hold on here a second. There is the list I'm working from. Yay, rah. When you see an asterisk beside the name, that means they are signing early. We have at least 7 guys. I think Brown said 8, but I keep coming up with a list of 7, so I need to check his list from the press conference again. Israel Boyce, one of several defensive backs, 5'11", 180 pounds, not tall, not short. Weight is already pretty good for his spot. Extremely versatile. Defensive backs, Brown specified, versatility is a big thing. A lot of these guys, they are going to work them around at multiple positions to find where they work best. And so the defense has a lot of options come game time, depending on the offense they're facing. Yeah, tight end, signed one. We've offered several, and we have a lot. Nobody really knows what's going on. There has not been any chatter really about tight ends leaving. That's part of the confusing part. There is some assumption that Wickstrom would be the one to leave, but my understanding is the paperwork for an international player to transfer is more difficult, which wouldn't stop him if he wants to play. But Will Dixon, supposed to be good, expected to be ready for playing time, might see some playing time in the bowl game, plus next year. So it is sort of, who are we losing? What is the plan for these guys? Because most of them are receiving tight ends. Are we going to go with 2? Of course, when you've got a couple, 2 6'5" to 6'7" tight ends, you can do some special things, but there's only so many things you can do, and so many variations, so many plays in a game. So, I know Brown has a plan. I have no doubt about that. And it is probably a good plan. And, being executed, and we just don't know what's happening. But yeah, I'd say 2 tight ends leaving is, a definite possibility. But yeah, Boyce can play basically every defensive back position you've got. Any safety, any corner, he has played it. So we'll see how he goes. Mekhi Byerson, defensive line or edge, partly depending on how his weight goes. But they definitely concentrated some on edge rushers. Offers from Duke, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia Tech. And there are also going to be people who like beating Virginia Tech and the recruiting side of things. Hey, we'll win whatever we're going after. Enjoy the win. And Dominic Collins, one of several West Virginia players. I think he was just recently named the Max Prep Player of the Year in West Virginia. I saw that. Did not, remember to actually research and make sure the claim was correct. But this guy is fast. West Virginia did not offer him until just a few days ago. And he accepted very quickly, no surprise. He is not tall. He is not heavy. He will have to put on probably 20 pounds after he gets to West Virginia. But he is somewhere on the far side of fast. Possibly will step into being the fastest player on the team. if you want to have Clement, Horton, if he stays, and Collins all in the race, you know, find a fourth guy, and you've got a 4x100 team that is going to win the state probably. He was timed, hand timed, at a West Virginia camp, running a 4.240. They didn't believe it, so more people came over, watched him. They ran it again, 4.240. Now, some people are saying, hey, if that's actually laser timed, we're probably talking in the 4.3 range. I won't gripe about a tenth of a point, a tenth of a second in a 40-yard dash. Well, I might gripe if they were actually racing and it was that much of a difference. But there will not be many guys on many teams who can match him for speed. He will quite possibly play a part in the return game very early, not so much in the receiving game for a year, maybe two. Coach Brown did specify as a receiver, he still has a lot to learn, and he probably has just gotten by on speed. Some of the things he needs to learn, and especially that size, are probably why he was not getting a lot of offers. And of course, players from West Virginia have to be twice as good to get the offers. But dang, looking forward to seeing him. Jason Cross, primarily listed as safety, but again, going to be able to move around. High school, he played safety, wide receiver, and quarterback at different times, and he excelled at all of them. I think the only player to have 1,000 yards as a receiver and throw for 2,000 yards as a quarterback. So versatility, yes. 24/7 Sports has him as the number 8 player in Pennsylvania. Offers from Boston College, Iowa State, Kentucky, Michigan State, Penn State, and Virginia Tech. And personally, I get a kick out of beating Penn State in anything. That will, of course, go 10 times for the opening game in 2024. We also did sign Trayvon Dunbar, a second running back. Hadn't planned to add that second running back, but Justin Johnson left. We offered Dunbar, had been following him for an extended time, and he was injured his junior year. Injured late his sophomore year, missed pretty much his whole junior year, came back and had a monstrous year this year, averaging over 11 yards a carry. So we are going to have running back competition for a long, long time. And the thing is, with this offense, as we saw at the last 6 or 7 games, whether you're a running back or a wide receiver, there's lots of reasons to come here. So, it's not like we, are just going to get one or the other. And of course, going 8-4, having, here's the screwy part. The fact that we were so good on offense at times is attracting higher quality players. The fact that we had some very specific problems on defense is attracting some high quality players. Okay. But if you're having problems on both sides of the ball, it is harder to get top quality players to come visit. Once they get them to visit, the chances to get them to commit are good. So, win the bowl game, and that will improve the transfers we can get in spring, especially if we win it, putting on a really nice performance. We also signed Rick Darius Farmer, which excites a lot of people. He is top quality. And he's not really bigger than Collins. I guess maybe has, more of, well, of course, Florida competition, you get more tested. You maybe get more training, but he is expected to contribute early. A lot of people are worried that, hey, you sign a guy this good from Florida, he's going to want to transfer as soon as he establishes himself and has the high market value or something. He committed to Pitt, he decommitted, he committed, to UCF, signed with West Virginia. Does that or does that not indicate that he's a flight risk? Or is it that he found a home in West Virginia? Well, if he hears "Take Me Home, Country Roads" often enough, maybe he'll stay. And yeah, his list, oh Lord, I mean, just look at that list. There were some schools in the country who didn't offer him, but not very many. So they did a good job sticking with him. And Brown said, he really felt West Virginia was the right place for Farmer. Not just that we needed him, but the right place for him. And, I guess there's some background there. That, people are indicating, their reasons for going outside of Florida, personal stories or whatever. We don't know. Maybe we'll hear someday. Nate Gabriel, defensive line. Polk County Co-Wrestler of the Year. And if Frazier didn't make you want to get wrestlers on the team, you haven't been paying much attention. Chris Henry, defensive back, probably going to play corner first, but again, he will get tried at different places. 6 feet, 190 pounds. So the weight, again, is already good. We've been bringing in a lot of defensive backs who are 160, 170 pounds and need to add at least 10, 15, 20 pounds before they're ready. Some of these guys are coming in more game ready than what we've seen. Again, first running back we signed, Dior Hubbard. And last year, he was a finalist for Mr. Ohio. So we are, again, not talking about a low-rent running back. It's still not clear why more teams were not after him. But he did commit fairly strongly and early to West Virginia. Sometimes that scares teams off, not often. But, hey, we're going to enjoy watching him, I'm sure. Zay Jennings. Yeah. Again, likely to play safety, will bounce around some. He looks to be a very strong candidate. I don't know that he will play this year. The weight is pretty much there. And again, a little taller than what we've been getting at safety, 6'1". There are going to be receivers out there taller than him. And I'm not a big believer in height being the critical thing, especially if you can jump like Dom Collins, by the way, who had a 40-inch vertical leap at camp to go with that 4.2 speed. So he may be short, but he's going to win his share of 50-50 balls against taller defensive backs. And linebackers are not going to stay with him. So, yeah. Curtis Jones, linebacker. We'll be using him as linebacker. Number 4 player in the state of West Virginia, according to most of the recruiting outlets. So we are getting top players. We did not get the number 1 player in West Virginia. we'll wait for him to enter the transfer portal and see what we can do again. And we'll be using him as a linebacker, 6'2", 210, and he runs 11, 8, 9 in the 100 meters when running for the with the relay team. So we are going to have speed. We are going to have size. We are going to have a combination. I don't know if West Virginia has had the combination of size and speed we're going to see in 2024, especially after Mike Joseph spends some time with these guys. Elijah Kinsler, defensive line, offers from the Boston College, Louisville, Michigan, Purdue. Number 22 player in New Jersey. I don't know what that says. I don't know how good football is in New Jersey. It is not a huge state. It is not unpopulated. But now Onwalka, and I know it is with a lot of these names, first name is easier. A lot of people are just, Coach Brown gets to call him Obi. If you notice, I call the players by their last name. I am old school. Last name is respect. You call a guy by his first name or nickname. Once they say, fine, go ahead. Yes, I like it. That's my preferred, whatever. So you will hear me using last names, even if I butcher the pronunciation. On Wonka, edge rusher, if the weight goes higher, he could end up on the line. But right now, coming in as an edge rusher, and his numbers there are just magnificent. And ever since he committed, he has been the most vocal recruit you could hope for. And I said that I had some ideas I wanted to talk about with, because Coach can't judge by Twitter. Have never met the guy, don't know what his in-person personality is, but my hope is that he will be the Garrett Green of the defense. By that, I mean the charismatic leader. We have had guys on defense. We currently have guys on defense who have learned to become leaders, mostly by leading by example, being vocal when they have to. We have not had a natural, energetic, charismatic, fiery leader, the guy you run through the wall for. If he can be that for us, that could be at least as important as his numbers. So that is my hope. We'll see more of that when he gets to camp. And he is coming in early. So, and let's see. Yeah, we still got 8 people in here. We're not getting comments. I don't think I'm answering all the questions in the universe. I also don't think my opinion is the only one that matters. So I am curious what the thinking is out there. Are you happy with this recruiting season? Let's see what else. Keyshawn Robinson, hey, another West Virginia player. No, I think some outlets said number 2 player in West Virginia. He was on the state champion track team for the 4x100, 4x200, and the 4x400. I think we can consider him a runner. Average heights at 6 foot, 175 pounds. He will need some weight. Probably like to get him up, maybe 15 pounds, something like that. But he's not 160 pounds. So hey, again, 1 tight end in this class, and I can understand signing 1 tight end per class. Jack Samarco, coming out of the Cincinnati area where we recruited rather well this year. All of Ohio, we recruited well. He's 6'6", 240. So the weight is already there. The two guys we took last year, athletic, but they were switching to tight end. The weight wasn't there when they came, may not be there by next year. It may take 2 years. That may make one of them leave. Maybe they decided they don't like tight end. I don't know. But Samarco is coming in with the necessary weight, but he is still a receiving tight end. So we'll see. Brandon Raymond. And you look at his offer list, and everybody loves Raymond. Had to say it. Other people have probably said it. If you're old enough to have watched the show. Actually, I didn't watch the show. I didn't like it. I didn't like Raymond, but I do believe I'm going to like Raymond. So wide receiver room is crazy. Green is going to be standing back there losing his mind because he's not going to know who to throw to. Yeah. Okay, we also picked up Justin Terry, another offensive lineman, and another late bloomer. I think we got in on two guys that other people didn't notice so much, and I think both are going to be good. Of course, West Virginia has a history of developing linemen after they come in. We've got it doesn't matter who coaches at West Virginia, we grab linemen that other people don't see. And it's not that we make something out of nothing. We just see the diamond and put them under the pressure. And Coach Brown said, similar to Johnny Williams. So, man, hey, you can't beat that. Keon Washington, likely to be at corner first, but again, we'll move around. They'll try him out. Somewhere between, the 28th to 31st ranked player in the state of Maryland. Khalil Wilkins, our quarterback. I like this guy in a whole lot of ways. He's a little rough. His original high school did not ask him to learn football. It was pretty much, hey, go out there, take the snap, and do your thing. He's going to take some refinement. Got to put on some weight. He's got the legs. He's got the arm. He's got the body for the weight. And all indications are that he loves the program. And, the throws, everybody who was watching him throw was impressed. And, we'd been after Samaj Jones for a long time. We saw, Wilkins and said, who? Samaj? Who? He can go someplace else. This guy is going to be somebody we're going to enjoy watching him. Probably take 2 years, at least. We've got Green for next year. Again, odds he'll be the starter. Can't say that Mark Hill will not, just really, take a huge leap. But we want Mark Hill to take a nice big step for next year. But I think a lot of us are still hungry for more, watching Green. So, and we've got Boyle in between. So we could have a nice progression of quarterbacks, each guy taking a couple of years as the starter if they're patient. Um, I could see Boyle leaving because he's kind of squeezed in between Markiol and Wilkins. I wouldn't blame him. And again, I don't know how good he's going to be. So it's what does he feel he can do? Does he worry that he'll get beat out? We'll see. And we got, Ricky Williams, another linebacker. Look at this linebacking core. We have 3 young guys next year who are exceptionally talented. We didn't get to see Trotter, and he was supposedly the best of the 3. And if you look at Lathan and Cutter and imagine a guy better. So, and then, we picked up a guy from Ohio State who came out of high school as a 4-star. He did not make the field at Ohio State because he was behind other guys rated as higher. And, hitting the field just wasn't easy. So he is going to come in. Will he start? Maybe not. He brings experience, not on the field, but age itself does help. So Ricky Williams, again, number 56 linebacker nationally. We have players. Yeah, I think Brown mentioned a couple of sleepers. Can't remember if the other one was Zay Jennings. I was going to check that. Did not listen to the press conference again and did not have it written down. But I think, and a lot of people are looking at numbers. And hey, I like numbers. I'm more of a words and ideas guy, but numbers, by the way, numbers are ideas. Numbers are symbols. Numbers are actually words. So I don't know where this class is going to end up being ranked after, we added a couple of high-end guys, should raise our ranking. Of course, other teams are adding guys. But what matters, one, we got guys who fit needs. And I'm going to guess we got guys who fit the culture. And hopefully we largely got guys who will stay. Guys who play together for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They get to know each other. They understand each other. They communicate. They play for each other, not just for themselves. And this creates a team. And a team plays better than 11 individuals. We were seeing that as the year progressed. We will see it more in 2024, even more in 2025. So it's a good recruiting class for what West Virginia needs. And that's the thing. You can have the top recruiting class based on the numbers, but if they don't play hard, work hard, fit, if you have constant bickering or just discomfort in the room, if every year your top guys leave and you have to go out and try to have the number 1 class again, you're not getting anywhere. Look at Texas A&M. It didn't work. They brought in the players. They haven't kept the players. They have not, developed the players. They have not turned players into team. And you see the same thing at Colorado. You cannot bring in, 50, 60 brand new guys and starters every year and expect it to work out. I mean, you have to have communication between your linemen making the calls. You have to have communication, with the quarterback and the receiver, knowing, where the receiver is going to cut. We see every game, you see cases where quarterback throws one way, receiver runs the other. That happens. Modern game where the receiver and quarterback both have to look at the defense and pick the route. That's going to happen. But when it happens 4 or 5, 6 times a game, you've got a problem and you don't have a team. All right. I don't know if you prefer the pronunciation Lewis or Louise. Lewis, or Burgos. Hey, I'll do the last name. I may be closer with that one. But I want to thank you for the comments. I do appreciate it. And I wish some of the other, we're down to 5. Oh, we're up to 6 people. And maybe the new guy who just came in will make a comment. We have a lot of quiet people on here. I'm not one of them. Hey, I had caffeine before this started. Okay, going to take a look at the offense, defense, how we signed positions. Just kind of quickly, defensive line, Kinsler, Gabriel Byerson, an edge guy, Bandit Onwuka, linebacker, Jones and Williams. I put Henry and Washington cornerback, just, hey, let's pick some guys. Jennings cross Boyce at safety. So, again, recruiting precisely, not leaving gaps. And if you go back and look at Dana Holgerson and Rich Rodriguez, how they recruited, they would over recruit for certain skills, and both of them really primarily, they recruited for offense, they recruited for speed, and then kind of depended on the gaps to get filled somehow. Some years they did, some years they didn't. And on defense, you have to have a magician to create a defense out of mostly leftovers. And Rich Rodriguez had a magician. And I mean, Holgerson, had Gibson later. And we did have good defenses when we didn't have too many injuries, but it didn't take many injuries to cause problems. And Rodriguez, his recruiting to me was a mess, and it really showed up at Michigan. Yeah, there is the that's the thing that comes up. Star recruits. Of course, the question is, what qualifies as a star? Of course, hey, the rankings will, tell you, hey, 4-star, 5-star, 3-star. And we got almost entirely 3-star recruits. Now, actually, in the past, we've gotten more 2-star recruits than we did this year. Onwuka was a 4-star at some point. They dropped him, and everybody, say, hey, what's going on? Hey, just because he committed to West Virginia, do you drop his rating? Was that the reason? I don't know. Do I trust the rating services? No, I don't. Do I like, looking at the rating services? Yes, I do. They are fun. But I treat the rating services more like if I were to watch a soap opera, not, a piece of well-written Hey, if you want a well-written sports, series, go watch Sports Night. It was an old sitcom, only lasted a couple of years. The writing was excellent. Uh, Great show. Go watch it. You'll find it on some streaming service or YouTube someplace. Um, but I don't take rating services seriously. And I don't care if we recruit stars. I care if we recruit guys who can become stars. And here's how many stars do you need on a team? And how many stars can you have and still be a team? Can you have 11 stars? I mean, that's been an issue. If you watch, sports history. I mean, I'm an old 1970s Sparky Anderson Cincinnati Reds Big Red Machine fan. And you had a bunch of stars who played as a team. It's one of those things, some managers can take stars after stars after stars, get them to play as a team. Some can't. Some coaches can take blue collar players and get them to play like they're a star without thinking that they're a star. And I mean, it's all about getting the most out of a player and getting the most out of what they become as a team. So, yeah, well, I mean, I think we do have stars. Raymond, going to be a star. Farmer, star. And we've already got stars at receiver. Wilkins doesn't look like a star on paper, but he's a star in the making. It's hard to get excited, I know, when if you're looking at these numbers and they don't add up as high as the numbers of some other teams. But I believe we have star players. The trick is going to be, can we keep the mentality to be team mentality? And yeah, the retainment so far this year has been amazing. We have not lost anybody that will make us blank. We have not lost any stars, definitely. We lost a couple of guys who have played well overall, but I think we are actually going to replace them with better players. I think it's part of why they left. So yeah, well, of course, the retaining players starts with bringing in players who like it here, whether it's because they like Morgantown in West Virginia, or because they like the school, they like the coaches, they like the culture, the atmosphere, they like the guys they play with. If you are family, you are less likely to leave. And yeah, I know they get offered some big money sometimes, but it's harder to leave your family for a few dollars more. So we'll get into the Clint Eastwood movie references. You're not going to leave for just a fistful of dollars. So who you bring in is step one in who you keep. And Brown still talks about losing 30% of your roster every year. So he's still assuming a lot of these guys are going to leave. I'm hoping we reach a point where it's not that many, but we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, hey, Brown has been talking to Neyland probably since before he arrived on campus. I've no doubt about that. And Brown is not afraid to take advice from somebody who knows. Now, there have been certain discussion boards who say, hey, we said this and then Brown did it. And while I think most of them are joking, I think some of them are not. And no, Brown did not read the message board and decide to do something. But talk to Neyland? Oh, yes. And he well should. Now, mobile quarterback, that was Brown's idea from the beginning. That's, one of the first guys he recruited was Garrett Green. He had recruited him at Troy, and he brought him to West Virginia. Dagey was a necessary in-between step. He did not do as well as hoped, largely because, the support wasn't there. But Brown, beefing up the line. They beefed up both lines, actually. But again, I don't think that's a new idea. I think it has mostly just taken time to establish. And of course, that finding the balance between size and mobility. Because, of course, if your tackle can't slide to the outside, they're going to get beaten all day long. You can be 700 pounds and you're going to get beaten. You can have a huge wingspan, you're going to get beaten. You got to have the feet. And if you got too much weighing those feet down, you are not going to move. So, finding that balance. And again, Mike Joseph, the nutrition program. So you can have a stout line that can move. I'd have to go back. I don't know how mobility rated among the offensive line for Neyland. Obviously, Major Harris, size and mobility, yes. He did not move like Pat White, but that's okay. He wasn't Pat White. He was Major Harris. But I do think, mentioning connection between Brown and Neyland, I think that's important. And we are, man, how many times do you get a coach like Neyland who stayed as a coach for a long time, successful, established the foundation that the program is living on today, and this foundation of quality play, quality people, and doing the right thing the right way. No scandal. And he stayed. People didn't necessarily think he would stay at the school as a coach for very long. He is a West Virginian. I don't care where he was born. Heart and soul, West Virginia and West Virginia University football. And we need to not just thank him for what he did as a coach, but what he is doing today. And you're probably right. It would be interesting to ask Coach Brown. And I don't think he would give a very specific answer. But some of what has he learned from Coach Neyland? I don't know. Maybe when they do the Kegler show next year, if I remember, I will try to phrase that question in a way that won't require 5 days to answer. Speaking of taking a long time to answer, I talk a lot. Is there anybody here who noticed that? Okay, looking at the offense real quickly. On the line, we added Austin, Terry, and Altuner. Austin and Terry are late bloomers. They will probably take longer, maybe 2 years, to really get into the position to play a lot. And that's fine because we have the guys ahead of them who will be playing and playing well. So you're now looking more at where you're going to have guys starting for 2 years, sometimes 3 years, instead of 5 years. So it's been great to have a line that played so much together, but in some respects you don't want that. And then because when you switch over, you can lose too many snaps and too much experience at once. Altuner is the guy who he won't. I'm not going to say he won't get playing time this year. They may try to get him in there, at least for his 4-game limit. And 2025, he could very easily be the starting center. Picked up Samarco. Heaven only knows where he fits in. We've talked about the tight ends. Wide receivers, oh my gosh. Robinson, Collins, Riemann, Farmer. We've got speed. We've got speed. And we have speed. I think there will be a few shots taken next year. And that includes the West Virginia offense and the defensive coordinators for our opponents every week. And they will probably take more shots than the offense. But hey, we may see defensive coordinators hungover from drinking all week, but okay. Quarterback Wilkins, man, I already said how much I love him. And running backs Hubbard and Dunbar. I do still expect Anderson to hit the portal after the bowl game. He's currently the number 2 back for the bowl game since Johnson's in the portal and Donaldson hurt. So we'll be seeing White, Anderson, and Oliver. And I am looking forward to seeing Oliver. I'm hoping Anderson just has a really good game and goes into the portal. I want him to have a good enough game to help himself out in the portal. He needs to be playing a lot someplace, but the odds that it'll happen at West Virginia at this point are really small. I'm not exactly why the success never quite developed. We saw the big runs, but he didn't quite put things together before he got passed by other runners. So probably time for him to move on. Donaldson actually is not a certainty to stay. His injury makes him less attractive in the portal, but he is looking at a position where he could be losing snaps, particularly to Oliver next year. These guys, Hubbard and Dunbar, may get in. I mean, again, 3 or 4 games. We'll see. A prediction on the bowl game. We got to do my bowl game show here in the next few days. Get it in before Christmas. I say we score a minimum of 35 points. And if the defense can set the edge, then and get some pressure, I see us holding North Carolina under 21 points. So I'd say at least 35-20. West Virginia could very easily go over 40. Oh God, I mean I think we will win well. But it is that thing, we've got the long break. Will we come in we could come in overconfident because so many North Carolina guys aren't playing. And North Carolina could come in super pumped because so many young guys are playing. Uh, you never know which way that's going to fall. We could come in super pumped because, hey, we've still got something to prove. And I think at a couple of games this season, the team forgot that. But you want to finish strong. You want to say we're real. And I could, if we win, people are going to say, hey, North Carolina, had all these guys out or in the portal or whatever. But, if we win and win convincingly, it will make a difference in the mental state of the team. It'll make a difference in the recruiting going forward. And, of course, the recruiting going forward will affect the seasons ahead. So, again, winning begets winning if you keep the guys' heads screwed on straight. No matter how much you win, you have to play with the chip on your shoulder. You always have to play like you're the underdog. I see next season, I say the floor is 9 wins. I really think we should get 10, definitely. And I do think an undefeated regular season is a significant possibility. Okay, we have Timothy 3824, Mountaineers. Anybody else? Hey, we're up to 14 viewers. By golly, that's the highest I've ever had on a live stream. Where y'all been? 15. Yeah, maybe I need to be starting these a little later. People are just kind of getting into things. If you guys want to put in your prediction for the bowl game, you want to put in an early prediction for the win total next year, let's hear it. I've kind of had my say here all night. So I do want to, hey, the whole thing about subscribe, click the thumbs up, and share, tell your friends, all of those things, because, I'm not sure just how much that can help a channel like mine. Any channel. All of those things feed the algorithm. The algorithm determines, how much the video shows up in search results or in suggestions. So in order to get viewed, we need to have people, you need to tell YouTube that you were here, that you liked it, all of those things. And of course, have to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the past 365 days in order to start monetizing. Hey. And I do need to be able to turn a profit on this channel. I need to turn a profit on something. Yeah. We got to feed Ariel. We got to take Ariel to the vet. Hey, she's hyperthyroid and she's got her own little issues. She's, about 14. So, yeah, she is not what you consider young for a cat. Okay, let's get back in here. The future, very bright. I think, so bright, you got to wear shades. Sales of sunglasses should be skyrocketing in Morgantown, and not just for snow blindness this month. Hey, you, Big Russ, you made it. Not sure if this is the first one you've caught part of. You've said you wanted to catch me live. I am live. Again, I said at the beginning, I haven't checked the pulse, but I do believe I am alive because I am excited about West Virginia football. Next season, it's a challenge, no doubt about that. Of course, that's what we want. I want every team to be undefeated when we play them, and I want to lay their first loss on them. That's I don't want to catch teams, when they're down or whatever. If that's what it takes to win, hey, I'll take it. But yeah, my ideal is just to beat every team their first, and go from there. But um, it's going to be an interesting season. But we're going to, again, barring injuries. Oh Lord, um, I mean, the defense this season, 2022, and about the last 4 games or so of 2021, injuries have been insane on the defense. I mean, 2021, those last games, if you go back and look what the coaches were having to do to put a defense on the field, it was, I mean, they didn't succeed every week. We had I think one bad game there in the last 4, but it was impressive, and people are not looking at what they did with what they had. 2022, again, we lost Woods, and then we lost more guys, and it was a mess. This year, now, one thing for the bowl game, hey, Beanie Bishop, Malachi Ruffin, these guys who played so many snaps, way more than they should have had to play, are going to have gotten some rest. We're not going to have a lot of the injured players back. We're missing Frazier and Donaldson on the offense. Fox might or might not play, still not determined. But, the defense is still going to be the defense. We're not really getting anybody back from injury, with Lathan probably being the number one that we need, because a lot of the coverage problems start on that second layer and move to the safeties. It's not just that the safeties aren't doing their job. The linebackers are making their job harder. So, okay, 38-35. Oh, man. Hey, Patrick, you're cutting it close there. I'm counting on the defense to play more like they did in the beginning of the season, with Cutter having more experience. I think he and Koba are learning to play more together. I think that's allowing the coaches to call more aggressive defense and a more varied defense. You have to be able to confuse the offense, and that's true of almost any defensive scheme. If the offense knows what you're going to do, there is a way to beat it. So you have to try to make sure you're doing something in a way they aren't expecting, game overall and play to play. And Floyd, they'll be using Floyd a lot. Well, of course, obviously they'll use Floyd a lot because we've got guys in the portal now. Some of the positions are going to be a little thin, but we will be fine. Let's see here. Okay, hey, now you get to tell everybody else you've been here, you've seen it. Come and see the relic. Yes, I can. I hadn't been thinking about it in terms of being in Morgantown, but oh yeah, that does of course make it sweeter. It's not that far away. Hey, who cares how many days till Christmas? We got to keep a focus on what matters. And yes, I like that. And I think it could be something along those lines. I would like to see Beanie Bishop get an interception. A couple of times this season, it looked like he had learned how to catch, and he knows. But yeah, and I like seeing Malachi Ruffin pick one. Last year he was our best at interceptions, which wasn't that good. Uh, but I am a Ruffin fan. I'd like to see him go out big. He's not going to the NFL. I don't know if he will go to one of the other leagues, but man, he's my kind of player. Um, we have a theme going here. I like it. I like I don't know if I'm just attracting the positive types who really believe in the program, but yeah, the belief in the program is up. I'm hoping during the off season we're not going to see as much hemming and hawing and negativity and flip-flopping as we did this off season. It was hard to find anybody who believed in the team from May straight on through. But I think this year will be, the national people are going to give us more positive attention. I don't think they'll give us enough, and that's fine. I don't want to be overhyped. Let's keep the team hungry and give them something to prove. And if they pick us, fourth in the Big 12, then we say, why aren't we picked first? And we'll work from there. Whatever they say, we want more. Okay. Confused me for a minute because I was still thinking about game scores. Any guesses as to who the two losses are going to be to, or is it just you kind of figure we'll lose two along the way somewhere? I'd be happy with a 10-2 season, especially if it got us to the conference championship. It's going to be a tough conference. There's going to be, everybody's going to be beaten up on everybody because even more than this year, it's going to be one of those that whoever is last in the conference that week can beat whoever is number one in the conference that week. It's parity will be the name of the game. I like that. I don't like it when it's only 2 or 3 teams each season who really are up and everybody else is kind of of course, we don't have a Kansas anymore. We don't have that Kansas anymore. There is nobody that everybody's going to beat up on. We saw that this season. When, hey, that team, lost by 30 points. And, then the next week they beat somebody by 30 points. I am, I suppose, happy that I was never good enough at any given sport to really work that hard at it so that I would have to do something like running Law Hill. And of course, part of the reason that I wasn't that good at any given sport is because I wasn't necessarily willing to put that much effort into it to get that good. I'm more the type who understands the game, and I think too much to play the game. That unless I had enough caffeine or somebody made me lose my temper and I quit thinking and just took it out on somebody. Yeah. Well, of course, hey, West Virginia, there's a reason why we talk about the hills. There aren't as many of them left as there used to be, but hills, trees, and curves are definitely part of what West Virginia is all about. And I always found I could walk more on hills up and down than flat ground. Flat ground bores me. Hills, when you don't know just what's over the rise or around the corner, always kept me going. That's what I love about one thing I love about West Virginia. There is always a hill or a curve to go check out. There's always something to look forward to. Have driven cross country and back. I have seen the flatlands. I have seen New Mexico. I have seen where you drive all day and do not encounter a curve. I don't like it. Staying awake was a big deal until we hit eastern Oklahoma. There were trees, there were curves, and I could drive all day and all night. And I did. Inherited, it runs in the family. It's something genetic. We love driving overnight. Okay. We still have 12 people in here. We've only had a couple of people who made their predictions. Do we have some more predictions, some more questions, more comments? What do you think about the recruiting class? What do you think about a given player? What do you think about Garrett Green, about Coach Brown? Is there a subject that you would like me to do for an upcoming video? After the bowl game, we have a lot of not much going on. There may be recruiting news, there may be not for weeks or even months at a time. I will still need to put out content. If you don't keep posting, you fall in the algorithm. Oh, we have to obey the algorithm. Well, thank you, Timothy. I do appreciate that. And I'm going to put that one up on the screen for everyone to see. Hey, you want to get your comment on the screen? Pay me a compliment. Yeah. I have never claimed I have no ego. No, I am not going to Charlotte. For one thing, I do not have anywhere near the money to do so. And it is a full-time job and a half to take care of the cats here. A number of them are older and many of them have health issues. So I'm either feeding cats, medicating cats, or trying to figure out how to cope with cats. And not fair to leave Jenny to do that just so I can go have fun. Yeah, I don't talk basketball that much. I've been paying some attention to it. And of course, it's not just that it's bad, it's that everyone thought for a while it was going to be so very good. I wasn't convinced because we weren't recruiting a team, we recruited stars. And when things got problematic, they bailed. And I think that tells you what the season would have been like had Huggins remained coach and these guys stayed. They would have underachieved because they would not have been a team. We would have seen some good things on defense, and we would have seen some crap on offense. And people would have, I think, ended up very disappointed. We're going through a rough patch now. I don't know what Eilert can do with it, and we don't really know what kind of coach Eilert is. I haven't watched the games, I'll admit. I gave up because I did not like watching Huggins coached teams because they weren't teams. They were five guys wearing the same uniform. And if you haven't noticed, team is a big deal with me. I was a Beeline fan. I am a Beeline fan. I will forever be a Beeline fan. He coached teams. And I don't know that it would have worked out getting him back as coach. I was not really big on that, but I'm still hoping Eilert is a team guy. It's kind of hard to tell, but we will see if the difficulties may forge something. It's like we could squeeze these guys into being a team and have a late run for the season. There's some talent there. Depth is still an issue, especially with the injury. But it's it's not what we expected or hoped for, but it's what we've got. Okay, I look forward to hearing that. I'd like to have some inside perspective, the fan perspective. Hey, maybe if you give me enough or I get enough feedback from different people, maybe I can do a whole show on the fan response to the bowl atmosphere, everything from the time you got down there to the time you get back that you're willing to let us know about. Just stay out of the hospitals and stay out of the jail, and then you can call it a good time. Oh gosh, yeah. I remember the songs, not the breaks. I've actually never attended a basketball game. Attended one football game back in high school when I was on campus as a academic scholarship candidate. But I needed some time out of West Virginia in order to get perspective on things. So I went away for a year. And then I went to school in Ohio. I don't know. I ended up spending a lot more time outside of West Virginia than I ever intended to. And if I can make enough money on my various YouTube channels, I'll move back to West Virginia and just sign up with a good internet service and be living the dream. Hopefully, maybe someplace in the hills near Morgantown. Grew up in the Ohio Valley, but family has always been from the hills, and I still don't know quite what to do when I can see more than half a mile in any direction. Hey, see the truth of us. Well, now, there's probably going to be some differences of opinion on that. But yes, we will be in the fight and grow. Well, I'm glad we don't have any ice cream in the house right now because you have maybe temporarily spoiled my appetite for that. Nah, kind of hard to spoil the appetite for ice cream. Now you're just making me want to go to the store. Although there's nobody with lemon ice cream locally. Oh, there was a little shop someplace down in central West Virginia way back around 1970 that had some very, very good lemon ice cream. We stopped there specifically. Ice cream cones had flat tops on them, as I recall. Don't know the how or why of that. Sort of a random memory out of nowhere. Thanks for bringing that one back up. That was actually a good day. It's the only part of the day I remember, but hey, I'll call it a good day, and we'll work from there. And, well, hey, now I do know the truth of you, huh? Never been a butter pecan fan, but have never really sought it. So yeah, I won't I won't put it down or object. And we can again, hey, if I like lemon and you like butter pecan, we're not going to be fighting over the ice cream. We can each enjoy. Well, we are not getting questions about the team. We are not getting predictions. I'm enjoying the conversation, but it's also getting to be time that I do need to go wash the cat food dishes and start prepping cat medications for the evening. And I appreciate everybody dropping in. The things to remember are the bowl game is less than 7 days away. Spring game is 4 months away now. And please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And 255 days to Penn State. I'd like to thank everybody for dropping in. Not sure when the next live show will be. I'll be doing a show of predictions for the bowl game or my questions for the bowl game. Probably, this is Wednesday. Let's say I'll probably shoot for Friday. Yeah, like I say, get it in before Christmas. It's a little more ahead of the game than I usually do them. But, and of course, I got to remember to do it. I also lose track of what day it is. So, and I do not have to have Alzheimer's or dementia. I have lost track of things since the day I was born. As a matter of fact, I don't even remember the day I was born. They tell me about it. Of course, I also had a brother who broke his leg on a Friday before I was born. I was born on a Friday, so they declared that all bad things in the family happen on Fridays. With that in mind, I agree. Everybody have a great holiday. Be safe, be healthy, be happy, be smart, think. I love to think. It is a good thing. Don't let anybody ever convince you that thinking is not fun. Of all the Aristotle quotes we are taught in school, the one we are not taught is that Aristotle said, thinking may actually be our greatest pleasure. Consider that one for a while. And now I'll say good night and see you later.